Section 6 mile record, which remained the fastest mile in the region for 38 years. He attended the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia and graduated in 1980. He returned to Buffalo and attended medical school at the University of Buffalo. After spending the end of medical school treating war refugees in Southeast Asia, he completed a 6-year residency in neurosurgery in Buffalo. He began his career as a neurosurgeon in 1990, 14 years after graduating from high school. In 1996, he formed Buffalo Neurosurgery Group. As director, he oversaw the growth from 7 to over 100 employees in a 19-year span. He joined the University of Buffalo Neurosurgery Department in 2015 and now serves as the group's vice president. He has 4 adult children scattered throughout the United States. He considers parenting his proudest and most challenging accomplishment. I agree with you on that one, believe me. After decades of city dwelling, he has returned to his Elmer roots and resides on Creek Road with his wife and 2 dogs. His memories remain fond and pride is strong for his alma mater. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Douglas B. Moreland.
Okay, I made most of that up. I know what you're thinking. I'm thinking the same thing. Just how long am I going to get up here and speak? I'm going to answer that the same way I answer my patients when they ask me how long the surgery is going to take. It all depends on how much I remember to do. I'm sure you're all nervous, anxious, scared. The uncertainty of being up here and your future. Certainly I was back then. And honestly, this is more challenging to me than brain surgery. And if I ramble on too long, just one of you take your hat and throw it. Someone must have made you a frisbee around here, I think. Anyway, so I'm going to try and share a couple poignant personal stories that hopefully will assuage your fears. A few months after I was in your position, I was a freshman at the University of Pennsylvania, Ivy League school. I was overmatched, I was overwhelmed, and one of my first classes was a comparative anatomy. And the guy got up and said, I'm Dr. Joe Blow, I'm a pediatric neurosurgeon. And then he said, I went to college for 4 years, I went to medical school for 4 years, and then I did 2 years of general surgery, and then 5 years of neurosurgery, and then a year of pediatric neurosurgery fellowship. And I looked at Laura Watson on my left and B. Neal on my right, and I said, who in the world would ever want to be a neurosurgeon? And honest to God, and I had no idea at that point what I wanted to do. I think my point is, you guys are 17, 18, maybe 19 years old. Don't close any doors. It's not the time to do that. When my father was an accomplished violinist, he was a physician. He was also a drug addict and alcoholic. And by the time I got out of high school, lost his license. And by the time I got into medical school, he was a convicted felon. I'm not telling you that to feel sorry for me, and it took me 30 years to say that out loud. When I was in 10th grade, I got into trouble, and I was at risk of being expelled from school. Bill Sweet, my running coach, came to my rescue, and I'll never forget it. He took me down into his room, and the principal asked me to talk to me. By that time, I was a pretty good runner. I was county champion, sectional champion, and he said, I thought he was going to yell at me, and I came clean on what I'd done, and he said, Doug, everybody should get 5 cards every year, and you should hand them out to your friends, anybody you've betrayed, and they should just say, you got to pass. He said, this is your pass. So I really kept that, and I taught my kids that, and I think it's a great lesson for all of us, because as the other speakers have said here, we all screw up. A couple years later, I was a state, one of the better runners in the state, and we'd gotten a lot closer, and he and my mom were very influential on me in a very different way. Even though I was a good runner, he never put that pressure on me both him and my mom, it was very easy to tell the truth to. And the other lesson I learned was the truth is just as much your responsibility as it is the person that you're telling it to. Because if you make it difficult for them, they're not going to be able to tell you the truth. And I had no trouble telling them the truth. And it took a lot of pressure off me with my running and with other things I did. Just to give you an idea of how much pressure my mom put on me to perform well, when I set that mile record, which lasted for a while, it was at the county championships, and I was a senior, and I won the race by a huge amount. And my teammates and everybody was congratulating me, and my mom came up, they all knew my mom, and she came up to me with this look of disgust on her face, and she said, "Dougie, was it really necessary that you beat those boys by that much?" And that was my mom. She did not care whether I won or lost. She cared that I was respectful to other people. Bill Sweet, my running coach back then, we followed each other forever. And he was a father figure, a confidant. He was best man in my wedding. He retired from teaching 15 years ago, and I made a point to take him out to lunch every Tuesday. We still do that today. He's my best friend. My regrets are all personal. When I was at your age, I don't regret not running faster. I don't regret getting better grades. I regret not respecting some of my classmates. In closing, I'd just like to talk about success a little bit. It's your own definition. It's not mine. It's not your mother's. It's not your dad's. It's not the person to your right or your left of you. It's what you make of it. And success comes in many shapes and forms. You don't have to go to medical school to be successful. You can be a great mom and be successful, or a great dad, which, by the way, I think is the most important job in the world. And by the way, I think the second most important job is teaching. There are many roads to happiness, and there's many roads to success, and you need to find that yourself. For me, it's very personal, and my trespasses are all things I all regret, or things that I did to betray my friends or family. I think in closing, I just want to say, I really, for all of you, the students and the teachers and the parents, you give these guys those cards, you give these guys those passes. You guys are all going to screw up, as the other speakers have said. And I really don't care how many times you fall down. I care how many times you get up. So I wish you all good wealth and good health. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Moreland. The Distinguished Alumni Awards are given annually to a select group of past alumni who have